जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, गोपीजना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, जय गोपीजना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन, यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन, यमुना तीरा वनचारी, यमुना तीरा वनचारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. जय 𝗦𝗵𝗶𝗵𝗺 स्तोत्र श्री श्रीमद् हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस भाई चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिल प्रभुपाद की ISKCON BBT फाउंडर आचार्य शिल प्रभुपाद की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद की श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. So we have the great fortune to have with us His Grace Sundar Chaitanya Prabhu. So those who have been since Kunj Bihari days, they know him well. But for the benefit of all the other devotees and also for my own purification, I would like to introduce briefly Prabhuji. So His Grace Sundar Chaitanya Prabhu is practicing Krishna consciousness since 1997. And he did his BE from Pune University. Eventually he was actually through his BE also, and eventually he was always into the youth preaching, mentoring, counseling, preaching to the youth. He came to many colleges all over India wherever Radheshyam has been preaching. And when there was a important call of His Grace 𝗦𝗂𝗶𝗵 Prabhu that he wanted able representative of His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu, because Radheshyam spent his early days in Juhu, where he got associated with many wonderful Vaishnavas there. So there, His Grace 𝗦𝗂𝗶𝗵 requested Radheshyam Prabhu that please send me a very wonderful devotee who can be like you. And then that time, His Grace Sundar Chaitanya Prabhu kindly accepted the desire of Radheshyam Prabhu, and he went to Juhu, and he has been a very wonderful example of a true sadhu. Everyone in Juhu loves him for being so saintly in his character. He is known in the Brahmacharya ashram for being always the sober and the sweet personality, caring for all the devotees. He's also involved in Mahat Seva and many other departments. Of course, Prabhu is part of the Temple Management Council there. So all the vital decisions are taken by the Temple Management Council. So Prabhu is involved in that. He's, of course, into youth preaching, and he has opened a very wonderful center at Kopargaon, and he goes regularly there. Apart from that, 𝗖𝗵𝗶 and many other places, and in Goregaon, congregation preaching. Plus, Prabhuji has been giving a lot of time for making corporate people also come to Krishna consciousness through Gita Life program. So many wonderful efforts to outreach, and he's a man of devotee care. All the devotees feel very sheltered under his guidance there, and he is very kind upon us also to come sometimes. Of late, he has not been coming so often, but we request him to come more often to bless us. So let us welcome him to Shri Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra Mandir by loudly chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय So we are reading from 𝗕𝗵𝗶𝗺, Canto 7, Chapter 11, Text 17. So the Chapter 11 which is going on, yesterday His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu also took last two verses, 15th and 16th. So this is the perfect society, the four social classes. Text 17. जघन्योनोत्तमां वृत्तिम् अनापदि भजेन्नरः ऋतेराजन्यमापत्सु सर्वेषामपि सर्वशः जघन्योनोत्तमां वृत्तिम् अनापदि भजेन्नरः ऋतेराजन्यमापत्सु सर्वेषामपि सर्वशः जगन्योनोत्तमां वृत्तिम् अनापदि भजेन्नरः ऋतेराजन्यमापत्सु सर्वेषामपि सर्वशः ऋतेराजन्यमापत्सु सर्वेषामपि सर्वशः न्योनोत्तमां वृत्तिम् अनापदि भजेन्नरः ऋतेराजन्यमापत्सु सर्वेषामपि सर्वशः न्योनोत्तमां वृत्तिम् अनापदि भजेन्नरः ऋतेराजन्यमापत्सु सर्वेषामपि सर्वशः भजन्यानोत्तमां वृत्तिम् अनापदि भजेन्नरः सर्वशः जघन्योनोत्तमां वृत्तिम् अनापदि भजेन्नरः ऋतेराजन्यमापत्सु सर्वेषामपि सर्वशः जघन्योनोत्तमां वृत्तिम् नरः न्यमापत्सु सर्वेषामपि सर्वशः. Word to word translation. Jaganyah, low person. Na, not. Uttamam, high. Vrittim, means of livelihood. Anapadi, when there is no social upheaval. Bhajet, may accept. Naraha, a man. Rute, accept. Rajanyam, the profession of the Kshatriyas. Apatsu, at the time of emergency. Sarvesham, of everyone in every status of life. Api, certainly. Sarvashaha, all professions or occupational duties. Translation. Except in a time of emergency, lower persons should not accept the occupational duties of those who are higher. When there is such an emergency, of course, everyone but the Kshatriyas may accept the means of livelihood of others. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The occupational duty of a Brahmana should not be accepted by persons in lower social orders, especially Vaishyas and Shudras. For example, An occupational duty of the Brahmana is to teach Vedic knowledge, but unless there is an emergency, this professional duty should not be accepted by the Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, or Shudras. Even a Kshatriya cannot accept the duties of a Brahmana unless there is an emergency. And even if he does so, he should not accept charity from anyone else. Sometimes Brahmanas protest against our Krishna consciousness movement for creating Brahmanas from European, or in other words, from Lenchas and Yavanas. This movement, however, is here supported in Srimad Bhagavatam. At the present moment, society is in a chaotic condition and everyone has given up the cultivation of spiritual life, which is especially meant for the Brahmanas. Because spiritual culture has been stopped all over the world, there is now an emergency, and therefore it is now time to train those who are considered lower and condemned so that they may become Brahmanas and take up the work of spiritual progress. The spiritual progress of human society has been stopped, and this should be considered an emergency. Here is solid support from Narad Muni of the movement known as Krishna consciousness. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So it is my great fortune that I am given this service of discussing Srimad Bhagavatam. So it's not an ordinary task. So I'd like to take blessings of all the devotees so that we can discuss about these topics of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is considered topmost scripture in the world. Like yesterday we heard from His Grace Radhesham Prabhu about the Brahmanas' duties and their how different status are there. So here in this verse, Narad Muni is describing about how one should not give up one's swadharma, which Bhagavad Gita also talks about it. In the 18th chapter, 48th verse, Krishna talks about how one should not give up one's dharma even if it is difficult, even if it is Jai Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra ki Jai, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ki Jai, Shri Gaurita ki Jai. This example also, that if one is following Swadharma, that following Swadharma also may not be very smooth walk, because the material world is such that whatever you do, so many troublesome situations are there which you have to go through, and then the results are also like that. So he gives an example that when you start lighting up the fire, surely there is some smoke which create trouble. So Krishna gives this understanding that Swadharma, although it is troublesome sometimes, still it should not be given up, thinking that others' dharma looks better. So Krishna is very much focusing on doing prescribed duty according to the Varna and Ashrama, and not jumping over because of some circumstantial issues or personal likings and dislikings. So that is one principle, need to be followed thoroughly when there is no emergency. So we see that every rule has some concession. So this concession is talked here, that in emergency, dharma can be compromised, or something else can be done, and that dharma is called as apat dharma. In apatti, you may do little different than the normal dharma, or you may change it altogether depending on the situation. So that duties in such emergency are called as apat dharma. And in first canto of Bhagavatam also, this discussion comes, that how even sometimes great rishis, like 𝗦𝗵𝗶 example is given, that how at one point of time, because of the emergency survival, he had to eat something which was not recommended normally. And there are many such examples in scriptures also and in our history also. But here, what we are discussing today, as Prabhupada writes, that current society is going through a lot of chaos, because the spiritual practice is almost stopped. And in this emergency situation, now there is practically no varna and no ashrama properly maintained. So when Prabhupada had come here, he and his Guru Maharaj, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, they both got heavy opposition from the mainstream of scholars or brahmanas, smartas, like that. And why this was there? Because understanding this apat dharma, understanding that there is no spiritual upliftment in the society, they were changing the details so that the society can be restored to the original spiritual culture, Brahmanical culture. So we see that in the life of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Srila Prabhupada, both. Another thing comes is that when this apat dharma has to be executed, what is apat dharma? Whether it is apat dharma or it is just mental concoction, because that also is another thing to discuss. And that's why dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam mahajano yena gata sapantha. that it is very difficult to understand which is emergency, which is not emergency, what is apadharma. But then, if we follow the life and teachings of these great souls, Mahajanas, then it becomes easy. Bali Maharaj or the practically every Mahajana we find that they were into difficulty, and then understanding the whole situation, they took some decision. Like Bali Maharaj, he rejected his Smarta Guru, who was telling him not to surrender to Krishna. Rejecting Guru is not considered very great. It's one of the kind of big irreligious thing. But then, understanding the whole situation, keeping Krishna consciousness in front, he did that. At the risk of his life, at the risk of his possessions, he did that. And that's how he became Mahajana. So when we follow in the footsteps of Mahajanas, then becomes easy. So we see that when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur also was preaching Krishna consciousness in this world, so much opposition. And we can't imagine also that kind of oppositions he had to face. When he was going for Brajamandal Parikrama, now the difficulties which we face nowadays is crowd and congestion and accommodation is not there proper or this and that. But when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur with his thousands and thousands of disciples doing Brajamandal Parikrama, majority of temples, they were getting closed. They were not allowed to take darshan. Even major temples also. Except very few like Radha Raman, etc. So, but still Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati did not deter from his very strong apadharma preaching. Because he knew that unless some revolutionary things has to set, the society cannot come to the normal state. And that's how when things have gone derailed, some things, to bring it back, some extraordinary steps has to be taken. And then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was very keen to take such steps, which was creating a lot of tussle in the society. He was considered it's like enemy of Sanatana Dharma, because he was bringing out these new things. Because first thing he attacked was that smarta tendency of calling oneself Brahmana just because one is born in Brahmana family. And then he was giving Brahman Diksha to those who are not born in Brahman family. And he took many such decisions which were considered otherwise very immature or very sentimental, like that. But then to establish Krishna consciousness, he took that risk. Like we see Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, just to give Krishna consciousness a solid footing in the society, he used to invite big people for functions. His PR was very powerful, bringing out some officials, some political leaders. We see that Many times he will invite the governor of Bengal for the function. So once he had invited for Gaur Purnima. And then when he invited, the condition was that because he was a British man, he was not ready for vegetarian diet. So then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur did not kind of leave that opportunity just because of that one thing. He said, no problem. He said, we will not cook that non-veg here in our temple. Let that cooking not happen in Mayapur, but it can be cooked other places, and then he can be fed non-veg. So one of the well-wisher, he said that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada, this is not good, this is sinful. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that when I was coming to this world, I told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that I will do anything and everything to establish Krishna consciousness. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, okay. So he said, I have come like that. So then he didn't say anything because he knew that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is not ordinary person. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur took this opportunity to practically mold the whole thing in such a way that Krishna consciousness is re-established in this world. And there are many such kind of instances if we go on quoting. And in case of Prabhupada also we find that many things which he did, which was not ordinarily very much appreciated. The way he started temples, anywhere, wherever, whichever place he used to get. Whether it is church, that church will become HareKrishna center. Whether it is like this Bury place in London. Now just recently I heard that that place is again back in ISKCON. Very nice building with many floors. So Bury place, the name itself is, it's a smashan basically, where Bury means you bury the dead bodies. So that was the place, but then Prabhupada said that wherever there is a chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So wherever there is a chanting of Hare Krishna, there cannot be any inauspicious thing. So he said, just chant Hare Krishna, then all other things, they are taken care. All the vastu, all the inauspicious things, they all become peaceful when we just chant Hare Krishna. So, because he was very powerful, he could make such decisions. That's how once he was asked, Prabhupada was asked that the principle should not be changed, but details can be changed. So then one devotee asked Prabhupada that how we ascertain what is principle and what is detail. And then Prabhupada gave very amazing answer. The answer was, it takes little intelligence, Prabhupada said. So, we see that what is this intelligence? Intelligence is this, that what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants, what Krishna wants ultimately to happen in this world. So those who know that, through that understanding, through that intelligence, then all these Mahajanas, they do that decisions. So here Prabhupada says that how Narad Muni here is certifying the Hare Krishna movement, and some of the unusual things which we are doing here. But Prabhupada also did so many unusual things. He he created ashram for Matajis, which nowhere in the history we find that. So, but then we see that Prabhupada started that, seeing that so many Matajis were coming and surrendering their lives. So Prabhupada thought that it has to be. And then Prabhupada was giving them second initiation, and then they were engaged in deity worship. So we see that lot of changes Prabhupada did in terms to facilitate common people so that they can become trained to practice and then preach Krishna consciousness. So he was ready to take people and train from any background, whether he is from Bauri, the hippies, or the Africans, or whoever he was ready to recruit and then train them and dispatch them all over the world. So that is Apad Dharma. So I remember His Grace Radha Gopinath Prabhu was giving example of this Apad Dharma. He said that somebody is giving class and then suddenly some rogues attack. So then he was telling that generally this mic system is used for speaking. But then if somebody attacks, then the same mic becomes you throw that mic on him to defend yourself, save your life. So the dharma of mic is to amplify the sound system. But then in Apad Dharma that can be changed, required whatever is there to safeguard oneself. So similarly, the acharyas, they know exactly what thing has to be done. Because when Prabhupada went to America, things were so much, it's like, it was not just ignorance. Prabhupada once, when Prabhupada was telling that if you don't follow this, then you have to become dog in next life. And then somebody got up in the class and he said, what is the problem? It's like, it's good. Because dogs are so nicely taken care, and it's like they are one of the very important part of the family. So he couldn't understand what is the problem. Dog is a good. So then it's like so much of problem is there. Like one of the devotee was telling that when he went to America and then he was giving class, and then he was telling that we should see every Mata woman as mother. So one person became very offended. He said, how can you speak like that? He said, oh, what is the problem? It's like we should see them as mother. He said, I cannot. He says, why? He said, my mother has done till now 13 marriages. So now recently she got again married. So how can I see other women as mother? So the whole definitions are only there. There is so in such situation, devotees like Prabhupada is very much needed. Mahajanas like Prabhupada is needed, where they can tell exactly how it can be done. Otherwise, everything just remain static. So then, by their spiritual potency, they turn such degraded society into very thriving Krishna conscious movement, like that. We see Prabhupada, like Prabhupada had gone to that place where he cried tears when he was singing glorification of Nityananda Prabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, 𝗦𝗂𝗶𝗵𝗂. I think it was Caracas. So that temple he had gone, and right now. So the Prabhupada secretary told the temple devotees that Prabhupada is coming there. And then Prabhupada came there, and when Prabhupada came there, they just phoned. The secretary phoned them that Prabhupada is coming, and then keep the padyam ready, the foot washing ceremony. So they said, "Kya hota hai wo?" They said it is ghee, milk, and then they gave that items. So that devotee had kept that thing. So when Prabhupada came, and then Prabhupada sat there. When Prabhupada sat there, the person who was doing that, first time he was seeing Prabhupada and touching Prabhupada, and first time he was having that padyam in his hand. So what he thought of that is that Prabhupada is coming out after so much of exhausting journey, and then this is for massaging his feet, like proper, it's like massaging. And he thought that maybe this oil and ghee and things will be that. So when Prabhupada took out his leg, he removed he made the dhoti up till here. Prabhupada was little shocked what he's doing. And then he started fully massaging Prabhupada with ghee. And then Prabhupada was looking at him, and then secretary was looking at him, and what is going on? And then he was confused. I'm just, So then Prabhupada said, okay. Prabhupada didn't say anything. And then he did thorough massage of Prabhupada's leg with ghee and oil and things like that. And then he washed. And then Prabhupada said, "Thank you very much." And then he sat and then gave class. And then Prabhupada was telling about Krishna consciousness. And then in the middle of the class, Prabhupada said, "So today we have two great personalities who have come here." And then everybody was looking here, there. And then Prabhupada said that they have come from very long. They stay in Nadia, but now they have come to Caracas here. And then he started glorifying Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu. And then he said, "Let us welcome them." And then that's how he started singing 𝗦𝗂𝗶𝗵𝗂. And then he was crying tears. So we see that he was bringing this movement to those who had practically no idea what is God, who is Guru, or what is the method, nothing. So in such situation, some very extraordinary personality who understands the movement, how it can grow, and make some particular changes like that, that is needed. And there are many such instances when Prabhupada had to deal with his disciples who they were innocent and they were giving their whole life, giving everything, but had no idea. Like we see, Prabhupada had given the Shaligram Shila to worship. And then he told how to worship. This Giriraj also. So, the devotee was worshipping that Shila for 6 months. And then the question arose in his mind that what it is. I am worshipping every day, but kya hai? And then he wrote a question to Prabhupada ki, I am worshipping nicely, but can you please tell me what is this? so that I understand. So that is the situation what Prabhupada has to go through when he was establishing Krishna consciousness. So he practically changed many things, compromised many things, and then he gave system which is very easily, nicely people can follow. Because if people are not able to follow, then whatever the best system has no meaning. If the medicine is very nice, but then it is not conducive, suiting to the patient, then the doctor who is very expert has to make some changes in the, like we see this, Narad Muni had changed the mantra only for one person, 𝗦𝗵𝗶𝗁 Muni. So that kind of things are always needed when it comes to preaching. So we see that such kind of very intelligent adaptation of different rules and regulations in the scriptures are done by our acharyas. So when we see them, then we can understand that their intention is not to not follow the strict rules and regulations. Intention is to make it very easily available, giving opportunity to all people in this world, so that everybody can become Krishna conscious. So, as Prabhupada says here that except in time of emergency, lower persons should not accept the occupational duties of those who are higher. When there is such an emergency, of course, everyone but the Kshatriyas may accept the means of livelihood of others. So, that shows also that scriptures are not as rigid, that this is, that's it. But then dharma is always dynamic. Time, place and circumstances may change the application. So the intelligent person, specifically empowered devotees like Prabhupada or Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, they have kind of given the rules and regulations which are suitable for current generation. And that's how they become very object of the mercy of Krishna. They become the transparent via medium of that mercy of Krishna. And then we can see the effects also. And we can see now that many orthodox, very strict, very kind of organizations in India also are changing after seeing the effect of ISKCON. So now they also have started following ISKCON and trying to do the same thing what Prabhupada did. So these scriptural injunctions are not static, they are dynamic, and then they can be done that by great personalities. Yeah. So we are very thankful to our great lineage of acharyas, specifically Srila Prabhupada and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, that with great caution, with great intelligence coming from Krishna, they made this whole very lofty principles of Krishna consciousness to the ground level, so that people can take it and peacefully practice it. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much. So many practical example of Srila Prabhupada, how he practiced within ISKCON society, apadha. So here in this verse mentioned that the Kshatriya can accept the duties of a Brahmana in apad dharma, but not the lower varna like Vaishya and Shudra. But at the same time, in the purport, Prabhupada mentioned that those who are even lower than Shudras, like Malechas, now in this apad dharma, when there is a lack of Krishna consciousness, they need to be empowered or need to be trained as a Brahmana. Many times it happens, something is mentioned in the shloka, but in the purport, Prabhupada goes beyond it. And always clarifies the point which is very suitable what we practice in within our society. Practically within our scenario, now when we have a trained devotees, how we should take it practical level while practicing that. One thing, if I know that if I am suitable for either Vaishya or Shudra, can I really take a duty of a Brahmana? Or if I have a attitude for administration only, can I really take a duty of a Brahmana within current scenario? Practical. This is one question. Another, as you mentioned, that other organization, those are orthodox, are also adopting methodology adopted by Prabhupada within ISKCON. Can you give some example for that?
Yeah. So the first question is that how we understand, adopt to the principles of Varnashrama Dharma, one's nature, and then, so in one of the lecture I was hearing that when we are talking about following of Varnashrama Dharma, so one is to do some service when it is needed, and another is his like major chunk of his life he spends in something. For example, if there is no pujaris, and if somebody is there who is now kind of permitted, and then he goes and does the necessary required thing, he may not be Brahmanical to say that from that nature point of view, but then he does it. So, for example, like say this bulb is it's gone. So then we go out and then we purchase a new bulb and then take a stool, stand on it, remove it, and then keep it in. So just by removing the bulb and putting another bulb, you don't become electrician. It is a job of electrician, but it is done because it is like to be done, and then now electrician is not there, so it is simple thing, so we do it. But then I may not be able to do the whole lighting of this temple hall. So there we need some proper trained person only. So in Krishna consciousness we can see this, that one is, it's like a very specialized service. Another is just kind of it has to be done. So many times you'll find that many services are there like that. It has to be done, and so there is nobody, and then just do it. So one thing is there that now that firefighting is going on, but then firefighting is not the best always. So then we have to come to that level where everybody is doing their natural thing so that they can do it nicely, and then they are benefited and then others are also benefited. So both things go simultaneously practically. Because if somebody is of that nature and then he does it, he himself is very happy and then he can do it for longer period of time. Whole life he can continue doing that. So I see in ISKCON both that thing goes simultaneously. Because like Prabhupada, when he was there, he practically drove out everybody out of temple for book distribution. Whether he has that mentality, no mentality, it's like need to be done. So we see that some things are there which it's need to be done, we do it. And then some things are there which we understand that is nature, and then we take that as a lifelong service, like that. That's how I understand first. Second question.
This same, that means apad dharma is for short period.
Of course.
That means eventually it should not continue.
Yeah, because even in ISKCON so many things have changed. Previously 99% of ISKCON was inside temple. Now it has reversed. Now the 99% of practicing devotees are staying outside of temple. So the things will surely change. The dynamics will change. So that is there. Second question, as you asked, that there are many organizations which are collaborating with ISKCON, and then they are also now preaching, like some very orthodox organization were preaching only to Brahman class, born Brahmanas. But now they have started preaching to other classes also. Now they have started traveling preachers also, like that. They have started going to the America and many other places. Otherwise, the sannyasis and they were restricted only to boundaries of India. But then, by seeing that if you don't preach, we'll perish, they also understand that. And they're seeing that happening in their societies. So now they also have adopted. So like that. Okay. Yes, Fuji, one.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for clarifying actually Sadayogi Prabhu's question. So I just wanted to give the understanding which I got after attending Urmila Mataji's Career Dharma Coach, this course I had done in GB. So there she had mentioned that everybody is supposed to engage in service of the Lord, irrespective of whatever varna one has. So like there she is mentioning the devotional ceremonies. So everybody is supposed to engage in service of the Lord. So that is everybody's dharma. So that doesn't really come under the category of all these four varnas, because everybody is supposed to do. So when we are saying that all of us, grahasthas or everyone is supposed to engage in service of the Lord daily or weekly or whatever, it's not emergency, it's not apadharma. It is our constitutional nature, which everybody is supposed to do. And apart from that, many times when we say that these occupational duties, then which one we are doing? So majority of our time, wherever we are engaging, like 8 hours, 9 hours a day, that is what we refer to
particular varna. So suppose if a Kshatriya is there, like Ambarish Maharaj is there or somebody, so they are also worshipping the Lord. They are worshipping the Lord, but still they will not come under Brahmanas, because they are worshipping the Lord is everybody's duty actually. So I just wanted to clarify that serving the Lord and engaging in all these devotional activities is not emergency. It's not apadharma. So when we, like you are mentioning that Prabhupada sending out everybody for book distribution, other things, so that is for a longer period of time. Like everybody is going for 8 hours, 10 hours. That comes under emergency. That is apadharma. But suppose if we are going for 1 hour, 2 hour and doing book distribution, that is not apadharma. That is our duty actually. So just wanted to add.
Thank you. Okay, we'll end here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.